Welcome fellow hunters, whether you're a newcomer to a world of Monster Hunter or you're just looking for a few tips to sharpen your skills, you've come to the right place. This guide is packed with helpful advice that will make your hunting experience smoother and more enjoyable. From picking your first weapon to gathering materials and upgrading your gear, I've got you covered. So grab your gear, pick a weapon that suits you, and let's dive into some of the best beginner tips for mastering the hunt. Choosing your first weapon can be exciting yet overwhelming experience, especially with the 14 different weapons available in the game. But I suggest you to spend at least an hour experimenting with each weapon and testing out their combos once you get the option early on. Each weapon has unique abilities, combos and strengths, but you don't need to stress about getting it perfect from the start. The beauty of the game is that you can change your weapon at any point, so you're never stuck with your initial choices. If you're new, I highly recommend starting with faster weapons like Dual Blaze, which is already my favorite weapon in the game. It's a perfect and fast weapon as you can see, and it's more of a hack and slash style, which is kinda rare in this game, as it offers great mobility, making it easier to dodge attacks while maintaining the flow of your combos. This way you get a good sense of how combat feels without feeling too restricted. On the other hand, if you're someone who enjoys mastering a challenge, you can dive into more complex weapons that requires more skills to wield effectively. While some weapons might be harder to use, every weapon in game is viable and powerful enough to take down monsters, whether you're playing solo or in multiplayer. The key is not to stress about which weapon is best. Pick one that feels fun to use, that you enjoy the look and feel of, and just start practicing with it. You'll have plenty of time to experiment and change things up later. And if you're still stressed to which weapon to choose and which weapon you need to continue with, use the training field to practice and try it out against a real monster later to see how it feels. Once you get a feel of it, make your decision. But remember, it's all about enjoying the process. And with the options to carry two weapons, you can even experiment with different types of weapon or elemental variations. So don't stress too much. Pick what suits you and start hunting. And I promise you, the one that you enjoyed the most is the right one for you. When you first start hunting, it might feel like there's so much to explore and so many monsters to chase down, but trust me, don't stress about where to begin. Just start hunting. Roam the map and take on whatever monsters you encounter. As you hunt, make sure to focus on actions like cutting off tails, breaking monster parts and capturing them. These actions will reward you with valuable materials that will help you craft better gear. Don't feel pressure to rush through the game or follow a specific order. Instead, enjoy the freedom of exploring the world and battling the monsters you come across. If you're ever in need of quest or guidance, always there with new quests to offer. And not only that, you can also post your own quests, inviting other players to join you or join SOS quests where you help others in their hunts. If you prefer playing solo, don't worry, your AI companions are there to have your back, making it easier to complete objectives. But here's the thing, don't just hunt one monster and move on. Keep hunting the same monster is one of the most effective ways to gather the materials you need to craft a stronger gear. So, take your time, gather materials and hunt every monster you encounter. Plus, the game will notify you when a new monster appears on the map and you can track it easily. And to find the monster, just open your map and mark the monster that you want to hit, and then your mount will start running there automatically. Be sure to check the Monster Field Guide too, which is packed with information about each monster's weaknesses and tips for taking them down efficiently. And as you can see, you can check their weaknesses and the spots that you can break or just cut off. One of the most important habits you can form while hunting or exploring is gathering every resource you come across. Whether you're hunting or just roaming the world, be sure to grab everything: materials, bugs, plants, ores, everything has a use. Even while riding your mount, you can collect resources without slowing down, so take advantage of that. Just let the mount auto-travel while you gather. This is a great way to multitask and save time. Don't forget, you can turn off the feature that your mount auto-running to the destination you've marked, but I suggest you to keep it on while you're traveling because it will help you to gather more materials without focusing on movement. Be sure to manage your inventory wisely. Before heading out on a new hunt, always check your loadout to make sure you have enough space. If your inventory is too full, store unnecessary materials in your item box before setting off. Speaking of preparation, don't forget to visit your tent regularly. The tent is where you can rest, change your equipment, pet your cat and customize your loadouts. I suggest creating at least 3 different loadouts, one of the general for hunting, one tailored to exploit elemental weaknesses, and one focused on gathering. This way, you'll be prepared for any situation. You can also cook meals, change your armor colors, and tweak your companion's gear to suit your needs. Don't underestimate the importance of the tent. It's a vital part of staying organized and ready for anything the game throws at you. But do not forget, you don't have to go all the way back to the camp just to access your tent. There are multiple tents scattered around the map, so you can use whichever is closest. Plus, as you progress through the main missions, you'll learn how to set up your own campsites, which will make things even more convenient. Campsites are incredibly useful for quick restocking, switching gear, or just taking a break without trekking back to a main camp. But if we're going to dive deep into campsites, that's a whole other topic for another video. One of the common mistakes many players make is hoarding their materials, thinking they should save them for later. Don't fall into this trap. Use your materials. You'll always be able to gather more by hunting monsters or exploring, so don't hesitate to upgrade your gear when you can. If you're ever unsure where to find a specific materials, just open the map to check the location for ores, bugs, plants, and monster parts. Additionally, when you visit a smithy, you can track the materials you need for your upgrades. Simply press triangle on PlayStation controller or Y on Xbox controller to mark them, and when you find them, the game will notify you. This feature makes it much easier to farm specific parts, which is especially helpful if you're trying to upgrade your gear or craft specific items. Remember, materials are there for you to use, so don't hoard them. Upgrade your weapons and armor whenever you want to stay ahead of the curve, and make sure you're always prepared for tougher battles. Armor is one of the most essential aspects of your survival, and understanding how it works is the key to improving your gameplay. Every piece of armor in-game has different stats that influence your defense, resistance to elements, and various other abilities. You can equip 5 pieces of armor: helmets, chests, gloves, belts, and boots, and each of these pieces has different stats. When crafting new armor sets, you'll notice 2 tabs, one for each gender. Don't let this overwhelm you. The only difference they have is the look of them, so there is no difference in these stats. As you progress through the game, defeating new monsters will unlock new armor sets, each with its own advantage and special abilities. However, newer armor doesn't necessarily mean it's stronger. Sometimes upgrading your existing armor can give you better stats than a brand new set. I've just started playing the game 2 days ago, and once I get comfortable with my build or find a solid one, I'll be sure to share it with you guys. That way you will have a better setup to use later on. But don't forget, you have to always focus on hunting monsters multiple times to gather the materials needed to craft full armor sets. That way you'll ensure you have the best possible gear for whatever challenges lies ahead. It's really not that complex, and like I mentioned before, don't make it harder on yourself than it needs to be. Just equip whatever armor or gear has better stats than what you're currently using. Honestly, the game isn't too difficult at the start, so there's no need to overthink it. But as you progress, things might get tougher, and I'm there to help you. And there you have it, some essential tips to help you get the most out of your Monster Hunter experience. Remember, the key to success is exploration, experimentation, and most importantly, having my channel subscribed. The world is full of powerful monsters to hunt, amazing gear to craft, and countless adventures to embark on. So don't stress about the little things, enjoy the journey, and I will upload videos to help you throughout this journey. Keep hunting, see you out there hunters, stay sharp, and happy hunting.